Okay, so here are the rails, and here is our show.
Completely off. Completely gone today. What in the world? Derailed.
Yay, you're here. Welcome to the CK and GK podcast. Let's get going.
It's Tuesday.
Hey everyone, we're so glad you're here.
Welcome back to CK and GK. We haven't talked to you in a while because last week you listened to us talk about football, but that was from last year. It was just a repeat.
It's still relevant. It's evergreen content. It's just that,
Right.
you know, we're not we didn't actually have a chance to check in with each other that last week. So this could be an interesting one. Let's hope we keep this one on the rails this time instead of off.
Right. So
no promises.
With me today is Caitlin. Roses are red, violets are blue. Caitlin's the best friend that y'all ever knew.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay, but like really, I didn't know you were gonna like actually try to make me cry. Oh my god! No, I'm like rubbing my eye. That's so cute. I was like, is she gonna talk about my hair? No, she talked about me. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Well, I hope this one is just as sweet because my co-host is Jenny. She is a very hardworking career woman, a strong feminist, a warm and caring mother, and would absolutely lose her ever-loving mind to sing with Stevie Wonder just like Claire Huxtable did on The Cosby Show.
Oh,
I feel like there are no greater compliments than Claire Huxtable. Such a high compliment.
Yeah.
She was amazing. I loved Claire Huxtable.
I mean, she was a doctor, right? Or a lawyer?
An attorney.
Yes.
She's an attorney.
He was the doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was the doctor. She was the attorney in that gorgeous brownstone in Brooklyn.
Yes. Well, you know.
Unreal. Mm-hmm. Okay. So speaking of crying, do you want to have some happy tears?
Yes.
It will make you cry. I'm just teasing. Okay. So I have some reviews. So many reviews. It's
People
making me so
talking
happy.
about us because we're so.
I know. So 2 of these awesome reviews. One of them is from the show called They Don't Stay Dead, which if you haven't listened to this show, it is amazing. It is 2 Australian women talking about paranormal things, and it's hilarious. And then they wrap it up by talking about a movie that talks about the paranormal, or like, you know, it's like a horror movie. I laughed out loud several times. So this is from They Don't Stay Dead. It says, Jenny and Caitlin are hilarious. Their laughing is infectious. The way they talk with each other is exactly how I chat with my friends, which I can confirm listening to that show. I want to join in on the convo. Also, a great hot tip about how to use my phone better, because I didn't have a clue on all these hacks before listening. And a big laughing emoji. Yeah, that one was great. So thank you to those 2 ladies. That show was amazing. Go listen to They Don't Stay Dead. This is from Katie Brinkley. She says, you can tell the hosts have an amazing friendship. Their energy that they share and conversations make me feel like I'm listening to a couple of my closest friends. And that is the whole point of our show. Right? So yay. So thank you to both of you for those reviews that made my heart happy. And we just appreciate that people are listening and reviewing. It's great.
Right. Thanks, y'all. I used to like put this little plead at the end of every episode. Please, please, please give us all the stars. Yeah. Review us. And now it's like, oh, people are doing it.
We're getting reviews. Yeah. So keep doing it. If you haven't, like, we would appreciate it.
Or do it again. It's fine. You can say you like me twice.
Yeah. I don't know how that works.
Multiple.
I think on Apple Podcasts, if you review us. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Go into Spotify and do it there. Or Good Pods. That helps too.
Yeah. So this is the time in the show where we circle up and talk about what's been going on the last week. For us, it's been 2 weeks because we went to Disney World. We spelled me and my husband and our 2 children. And we just need to catch up. I am going to talk to you about how squares for the big game, the superb owl, the Super Bowl, we can't say it out how the football game squares work. So this is something that you can very easily run in your circle of friends or family, or maybe with your work people, if that's allowed.
Is this like a
it's
a
like a
fun way to like betting on the
Yes, it's
game
a
kind of
fun
thing, but like you don't
betting
have to
game.
be as knowledgeable? Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So
I
I
have
liken
seen
this
these and done
to
these.
filling out your bracket in March for March Madness. Okay. If you are
You mean
really
like choosing by pretty colors of the jerseys and
right. If you are really into basketball, this is nothing like that. If you are into
Right.
basketball and you study and you fill out a bracket based on the teams, then, you know, good on you. But if you happen to just
Right.
pull names out of a hat or go by, I like this mascot or these colors are best, then
Mascot's a good call.
yeah, then that's that's like this. It's kind of random. So
yeah,
the way Super Bowl squares work is you have 100 square grid. It's 10 by 10. The rows are labeled 0 to 9 and the columns are labeled 0 to 9. One axis is one team and the other axis is the other team. So if you're looking at a square with a 10 by 10 grid, one side will be labeled Packers 0 to 9 and the other side will be labeled Steelers 0 to 9. No, neither of those teams are in the Super Bowl.
Neither of those teams are going to be in it. I was going to say Broncos. No, they're not me.
So, each square has a price. It's the same price for every square. So you might sell them for $1 and have $100 pool, or you might sell them for $10, or you might sell them for $22.50. It is totally up to you.
Holy smokes.
But most pools allow you to buy as many squares as you like, so you have more chances to win. Remember, this is random. This is not something that you're trying to be strategic about unless you're thinking about how football scores end. Because at the end of each quarter, the winner of the money, if you play by quarters, or at the end of the game, if you're only playing by the game, the winner is the person who holds the square that represents the last two digits in the team's score. So in my example where I said you have Packers on one axis 0 to 9 and Steelers on one axis 0 to 9, if at the end of the game the score was 13 Packers, 6 Steelers, the 3 on the Packers axis and the 6 on the Steelers axis, that 0.36, that box would win.
Oh, so it's just the last digit in the score.
That's correct. It's just the last digit in the score. So even if they have 0 points, there is a 0 point on the box.
Right. So you got to be thinking strategically about how
scores
this could go. Right. Because if you go back and listen to the football episode, which you probably did because it was on again last week, you would know that like a touchdown can be 6 points. They can get an extra point for 7, but they could go for 2 and get 8. Like there's a lot of ways that these combinations can go, but you're never going to see someone like, or if you do see, it's much more rare to see something with a 5 at the end early on in the game, unless you're playing right. So if you're playing by quarters, you don't want to do a 5 early on. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to just think about how that might work.
Or you do like we do and just say, okay, just sign me up for 5 random spots and we'll just see.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like playing the lotto where you just say, yeah, just pick my numbers for me.
Yeah.
See what happens. That's pretty cool. I had no way of understanding how that worked. I was always just like, oh yeah, just put my name down. Here you go.
So if you are planning on watching this big game with some friends or family, you can be the person with the Super Bowl boxes with the squares. You can show up.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a great way to keep yourself involved.
Yeah. And if you want, you can charge people and have them win something. But you could also just play it as a game to see who has the winning score at the end of each quarter. And then I've also seen families play it to where you don't win money, but you win extra snacks or less duties.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
I could get on board with that. Totally.
Yeah. The person who wins at halftime doesn't have to do dishes or whatever it is.
Love it. especially on a big game Sunday.
Yes.
Taking the dishes off your plate literally would just be amazing. All right,
Dishes
cool.
off
Thank
your
you for
plate.
explaining that. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna do. I want to just really quickly touch on this whole Brittany Griner thing. So we know that Brittany Griner was locked away in jail in Russia for the better part of a year. Yeah,
It was a long time.
Months and months, right? So since that happened, now there's a new question about the WNBA's ban on private and chartered planes.
Oh.
So NBA teams, let me try this again. So it is possible for NBA teams to be flying on their own planes. Yes, like we know this is a thing where like they get to go from one place to another on a chartered plane or on a private jet or whatever it is.
Right.
And they don't always do that, but there is like a team plane for a lot of teams that are professional male leagues. Yes? Well, the WNBA has a ban on flying private. And with what happened with Brittany Griner, remember she was flying over there, I believe, to go play in Russia in the off season because they don't make enough money to play. Like they just don't make a lot of money in the WNBA. So she plays in the off season here to make additional money. Right. So the assumption after what happened with her being stopped in the airport and arrested for possession of some sort of cannabinoid, like a hash oil or whatever, there's an assumption here that she'll need to fly private moving forward. But that brings into question a lot of other issues. One is, will the WNBA actually let her fly private? Right? Like that's a concern. And if they do let her fly private, shouldn't her team also get to fly private with her? She plays for the Mercury. It doesn't seem fair to let one person who yes, experienced something very traumatic to only be the only one who flies private. So there's that. But if the Mercury then also get to fly private with her, now you get to have one team that flies private and no one else does. So it's really kind of bringing into question this whole ban on private and chartered planes within the WNBA and why that's even a thing.
That was what I was going to ask. What is the purpose behind that? Is it about efficiency or green energy, or is it about protecting the
doubt
team
highly that it's about green energy.
That's what I'm saying. Like it can't be
You know what I mean? No, not if male teams get to do it. I'm wondering if it's about it's somehow related to financial concerns within the league. I don't honestly know the full reason behind that. I tried to find it out and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm sure someone could probably tell me. I just didn't find it in the right sources, but it is a really interesting thing that it's even a ban. And if the men get to fly private, then why don't the women? And is it financial? And if that's the case, then we need to really be looking at ways to make this a more fair system. So it was an interesting concept. It came up and I don't know where they're going to go from here, but it is sort of in the headlines again about what they're going to do with women flying from place to place during the season and maybe even during the off season when they're going to other places. So that's my sports update, which by the way, I need to say we're all glad that Brittany Griner's released and back. Like that's such a relief for everyone. So I mean, yay for that.
Anytime that we can get an American home, I'm glad to do it.
Right. And
it would be great if we don't have to trade. It would be awesome if we could just negotiate with other countries and let people
not have it happen.
Right.
No.
But negotiation is never going to happen. I mean,
no,
I'm sitting here saying, I wish we had world peace. Okay.
Right. Thanks, no.
Ben.
And I wish that there's another American citizen we were trying to get as part of that trade and he wasn't able to be released and he's been there for like 5 years or 6 years. And so that was upsetting. And I think she also like noted like that was upsetting for her too. But some countries are less agreeable than others when it comes to negotiation. And given that there's a war in Ukraine right now with that country, I couldn't see them giving any additional thought to anyone else being released aside from her. So
I know, it's just yucky.
Anyway, let's talk about something fun.
Yes.
Let's move on to obsessions. What are you obsessed with right now?
Okay, I am obsessed with Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Tell me about this.
Okay, so this book is older. It's like been out for a while.
Yeah.
What did it? 2015 maybe. But I'm just now reading it. And I am reading it in hard copy, but also listening to the audiobook that Shonda recorded herself.
Are you doing it at the same time?
Yes.
Like
it
like helps with comprehension.
Yes. I meant like holding the book.
Yeah.
Yes. Unless of course I'm in the car, at which point I listen and then I go back and read. But
right.
Yes.
Sure.
It is so fun to listen to an audiobook read by the author. That's one of my favorite things, is when you can actually hear that person's voice telling the story, using the emphasis and the place that they meant and all of that. But this book, y'all, is so good. We are at the part right now where people are asking her, Shonda, how do you do it? How do you have 3 successful television shows? Because remember, she's the writer and showrunner for Private Practice and Grey's Anatomy and Scandal. So they say, how do you have these 3 successful shows and have 3 children? And be the perfect showrunner and the perfect mom. And she was talking about previously, she would answer those questions with saying, oh, well, I just try and do laundry late at night, or, and give these silly excuses. And she said, from now on, I'm just saying, I don't. If you see me succeeding in one area, I'm probably failing in another.
That's legit.
Right? It felt so good.
And fair. Yeah, and fair. Yeah. I started a workout program. I had taken a lot of time off I walk every day. I do this, but I had taken a lot of time off on an actual workout program with weights and legit cardio because of my back. And I decided to get back into it. There's one that is through the workout program that I'm not going to name because we're not sponsored. So, but it's an alternating weights one day and then some sort of Pilates based or bar based flexibility and muscle building on the other day. And one of the things that both of the trainers were talking about is how when you say no to one thing, you're allowing yourself to say yes to another.
I love it.
Right? Or when you say yes to one thing, you're kind of forcing yourself to say no to another thing. And so just being mindful of where you put your yes, right?
Right.
Is really important. And I'm getting that same sort of vibe from what Shonda Rhimes is saying here. It's I say yes to these 3 amazing shows, but also that means I have to say no to something else in my life. You outsource it or say no or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, she gave the example, if you see me at my daughter's recital, it's because I'm missing Sandra Oh's last day on Grey's. Or if you see me turning in rewrites, it's because I missed a science fair or, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just very poignant, and it was cool to hear, how do you do it? I don't. And it's not fair for us to assume that everyone can. So I'm loving this book. It's so great. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, basically her sister at Thanksgiving looks at her and says, you never say yes to anything. And she realizes around Christmas time that her sister was right and that she doesn't say yes to anything that scares her. She's a professional at saying no to everything that seems scary or out of her comfort zone. And so she says, for a year, I'm going to say yes to everything that I was afraid of. And she ends up giving a fantastic commencement address at Dartmouth. She goes on Jimmy Kimmel, which she had been afraid of doing. It's very, very interesting so far. I'm really enjoying it. And I just happened to pick it at random for my book club, and I'm so glad that I did.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I feel like that's a really relatable thing. I also think it's really interesting. This is an aside that we can get into at some other point, but I'm just curious about this book is written by a woman, probably marketed towards women, right?
Absolutely.
Let's be clear. Who's watching Grey's Anatomy? Who's watching, her other content is highly marketed towards women, and she knows that. And And I don't mean to be that she's implying anything here, but I do think it's interesting that there's a lot of this we can do it all sort of talk aimed at women, right? Like, why is it like the 9 to 5 work week, the current schedule that we have was designed in the like 50s for nuclear families like the Cleavers, right? Where the mom was at home all the time, excuse me, and the dad was outside of the home working. And now, you know, that's not the case anymore. And there just needs to be a serious conversation about whether or not that's even necessary to do at all. Like, why do we even have to have, yeah. So it lends itself to another broader discussion, but I just wonder how many men hear that you can do it all message, right? Like that's never on the cover of Men's Health. Right. It's never on the cover of Men's Health, but it is on the cover of like Women's Day, right? Or like other magazines that are, you know, I don't know. I just think it's an interesting thing. I do like the message of that, which is like, be careful where you put your yes and maybe use it to take some risks. That's a good thing for yourself. So, I mean, I'm interested in the book. I just,
well, I'm really enjoying it. It's an easy read. She's writing it like she's writing a letter to a friend.
Love it.
And to hear her read it, it's like having a conversation with someone. It's really enjoyable.
That's great. Okay. I'm going to add it to my book list. Okay. So mine is ridiculous. It's not reading. The other day I'm sitting on the couch and I am working on something probably for our show, probably writing social, probably making graphics, whatever it is. And, Bryce and I had finished whatever show we were watching and we were kind of winding down and like, you know, doing the last minute things before you go to sleep. And he is scrolling through the television menu, the television guide, and he goes, "What is this?" And he puts on MTV. And folks, if you didn't know, MTV apparently is coming back because there is a show on at night, I think it's on right around 9, called 90s Nation. And oh my gosh, my 90s heart was the happiest person ever, ever, ever. All the songs that you know of as a 90s kid that make your heart happy were being played on 90s Nation with their music videos.
That is amazing.
So
it's like
it was awesome.
TRL.
Yes. Yes. Without the annoying VJs talking through everything and interrupting the song before it's over. Right. Yeah. So, like lots of, you know, 90s R&B, which was great. And I was talking to a friend of the show, Ariella, about this, but the Casey and JoJo song, All My Life, came on. Now, she mentioned this too. Yeah, exactly. If I never hear this song again, it will be okay because I heard it enough in the 90s that I still know every word, every single word, right? And it's still just as played out in my mind now as it was back then. Like I don't need to hear it again. But I watched the video and all that I could think about with the video was like, okay, this guy is like ogling this woman he's like on stage, right? Casey or JoJo. I don't know which one it was. I can't remember anymore, but he's ogling this woman on stage and she's ogling him back. But then they cut away to like scenes that remind me of like We Are the World video. And it was very like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Russell Brand, that video in the very beginning of the movie where he's like, you know, kissing a nun and he's like, and you, we can make the it's like the weirdest video ever. But then also right after that comes on South Side by Moby with Gwen Stefani. And I'm like, what is this? This is my 90s music catalog that when I clean the house, I still put it on, right? Like this is Third Eye Blind and Fastball and Goo Goo Dolls and Casey and JoJo. And I was like, so happy. And of course, because we were supposed to be going to bed, but of course, because I was like, I have to know what happens on what's the next video gonna be? So I stayed up like an extra 45 minutes just watching music videos. What's that? The Santana's, the Maria song. It was everything.
Oh my god,
everything. Yes. Oh my gosh. The Growing Up in Spanish Harlem song, right?
Yes.
She's living the life just like a movie star. That song. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. So, if you need a healthy dose of happy and 90s music, check out 90s Nation on MTV.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
So
Good times. Yeah.
All right. So, like I said earlier, we were gone for a week because my family took a little trip to Disney, and we are not quote unquote Disney adults, right? Like we don't have a Disney tattoo, we don't dress up in costumes, but we do love being a Disney mom and dad. And we love watching our kids discover it, and the family that we get to be when we're there. No worries. No. Oh, Hakuna Matata. It's nice to not have anything hanging over our heads. So we took Kit for his very first trip. It was only 3 days. We talked a lot about what is going to happen when we do something new. Let's talk about what we'll do. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. God bless you, Daniel Tiger.
So
bless.
Kit rides the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Epcot, which, if you're not familiar, it's brand new, or new-ish.
Right.
It's a roller coaster in the dark with these carts that react to inertia. They kind of like spin and turn as the track moves. So it's kind of like if a tilt-a-whirl was also a roller coaster.
Okay.
Kit rides it. He gets off. He says, "I'm ready for Space Mountain now." So he rides Space Mountain.
Okay.
And he does it.
Okay.
But I am telling you, Mickey Mouse comes to our table at breakfast and he hid under the table.
Oh, no.
He is 4 years old and he rode all of the thrill rides, but was afraid of every single character, even the human ones. Elsa's walking around. He didn't want to watch the parade. He is afraid of all of them.
Oh, honey. What was it about? I mean, I guess like a giant... I can see the Mickey Mouse thing, like especially the ones inside the suits. I could see that being a little unsettling for a younger kid.
It didn't matter.
Did he tell you why he was afraid?
Nope, just would not even... Like, as we're leaving the park on the last day and they're standing up on the balcony waving, he wouldn't even wave.
Oh, poor baby. Oh, and
but if I have to choose, I would much rather him be afraid of the characters and love the rides than afraid of the rides and love the characters.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Totally agree with that. I mean, one's definitely more fun, right? Like, I know which one like one's going to be boring and one's not. Have you seen any of the videos of like dogs meeting their favorite Disney characters?
No.
There's one of a service dog who's dressed up as Snow White. She has like the little like yellow skirt on and it's just the sweetest little thing. But her favorite is Tigger. And she meets Tigger. The dog gets to meet Tigger, like the big Tigger, the dog just immediately like melts and rolls over and wants the Tigger to rub her belly, and it is anytime you can watch a puppy meet their little like Disney hero, I would highly recommend. I think I cried. It was like the sweetest thing. But poor kid, like he like loves the ears and everything, and he just wasn't having it, huh?
Nope. And that's fine.
Oh, poor
it's
baby.
Fine.
Yeah,
but it was hilarious. Like, how is it that you can ride Big Thunder Mountain twice, but you're afraid of Tinkerbell?
My goodness, that's funny.
Okay, so I have another story. We're making a road trip this weekend. And like we always do, we stopped at to quote Kit, beer place. And as you've heard me say before, if you're a loyal listener or you like punishment and you put this on every week, you know that the brewery is the new park, right? Like there's playgrounds, there's kids, it's beautiful outside, and there's also beer. So we stop off and get a beer at a place that we've been to before and we knew we liked. John goes into the bar to order a drink. I am sitting on my phone doing the doom scroll thing and really not paying attention to my children pretty much at all. We're the only people outside. They're running around and splashing in puddles, and I can hear that they're playing. They're fine. John steps out of the bar with our 2 drinks and yells, "Kit, why are you naked?"
Oh, no.
So the Instagram post on famous fragrance dupes that I'm scrolling through saying, I wonder if they have Chanel No. 5. Meanwhile, behind me, my 4-year-old has stripped down completely and is rolling around in the mud.
Oh my gosh.
And my 11-year-old is just laughing and letting it happen.
Listen, sometimes you just need to be one with nature. He's almost feral. You understand?
Oh my God. I am the worst mom. Like, how do I notice my kid taking off all his clothes?
Listen, if I'm not mistaken, like it's been a long week for you, right? Like it's been an emotionally charged week.
Yes.
Sometimes you need to escape into your phone. Like it happens, right? It is funny that like when you happen to need that moment to escape into your phone, your child got naked and splashing around in puddles at a
right.
Okay,
this is not like he tripped and fell. Like, and I missed. Oh, he got hurt. This is not
right.
I missed that he ate an extra cookie or something. No, I missed him taking off all his clothes.
Oh my goodness. I mean, at least the clothes were clean, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, the clothes are clean and skin dries a lot faster than fabric. So I was fine with him splashing around in the puddles, but sometimes I'm the worst.
I love it. I love it. It happens.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think we've all done stuff like that. Let's be clear. All right. Well, here's my gems. So our big kitty, named Hugo, who I'm sure has made appearances on this show before, just kind of standing next to me. He finally succumbed to his health issues this week. So, he is no longer with us, which is very sad. And, it got so bad that we had to, say goodbye during the day while Sam was at school. And so we couldn't get him, we didn't give him a chance to say goodbye because it was too much. So, when we came home and we had a chance to talk about it, all of us were just sitting there grieving and crying and all those things. And at one point, Sam just kind of looks at both of us, like kind of does the side to side and goes, "Wait, I know what to do." And he's like, "Can I have the remote?" And I'm like, where is this gonna go? Like, is he gonna put on Bluey? Like, what? Like, what is gonna happen?
Where the bird dies. Let's watch it.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I really was thinking, like, are we going budgie? Like, what's happening here? No. I'm kind of like just pulling myself together, drying my eyes, blowing my nose, all those things, and I hear him going, and he's sounding out, spelling the word cats. And I look up and he's using the search function to find and spell out the word cats on Netflix. And then he found some sort of like Netflix docu special something. It's not like The Secret Life of Pets sort of there's a pets thing where it has all these different ways that pets communicate with humans or something, which is interesting. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, it's fun to watch. But this was like an hour-long thing about how cats are awesome creatures.
Oh,
and it's
my
got
gosh.
Like, yeah, it has like show cats on it, and it had something else too, like I'm trying to think of what it was, but like how cats will choose their owner over treats and things like that, and how they like to be up high, so put them on, fun scratchers and things like that. So it was a really sweet little thing that he did. It was very kind. He just wanted us to be able to like enjoy kittens real quick.
Aww.
Really sweet. Really sweet. Okay. So that was our first one. So, just a sweet little thing. then of course he's going to turn around and do something silly right after, because that's what little kids do. Yes. But as I've also mentioned on the show, his favorite band is Imagine Dragons.
Believer!
Love them or not, some of the stuff that they release is super catchy. So he loves that song, Bones. Like, one of the lines is, "'Cause there's magic in my bones." I think the general message is, sticks and stones can break my bones, and you can say whatever you want, but like, there's magic in my bones, and you're not going to hurt me, whatever. Yeah. That's the message. Anyway, he loves the song. So he's taken to singing it all the time. Like, if you are someone who is neurodivergent, especially if you have ADHD, you will find that there will be random things that just stick in your head. It doesn't have to be a song. It could just be a random line. Like, one of mine that just occurred to me the other day was that, I don't know if you've ever seen Veep before, but Veep is an excellent show. And one of the characters on Veep is named Andrew, and it's supposed to be Selena Meyer's ex-husband. Oh. And this is how my ADHD brain works, right? He is also, like, he's got a very distinctive face, and I'm in the laundry room, I'm folding clothes, and I went, oh my God, I think that Honk from Father of the Bride, Honk the chef who's gonna, like, Honk and Frank, yes. Right? Like, I think Honk is the same guy who plays Andrew on Veep. Like, 30 years later, I think, and this is what my brain did. And then I'm folding something. It's a sheet. I come out into the living room and I'm like, Bryce, I think Honk from Father of the Bride is Andrew from Veep. And he's like, what? Like, are you, what? With the guy with the curly hair? And I was like, well, it's kind of curly. It's like longer. It's kind of curly. It's not super curly. It was like curly on the ends. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then I'm like, what do I have to do? I have to go look it up right now.
Oh,
right?
Of course.
Because that's what I had to do. So I look it up, and it is absolutely true, by the way. It is him. And I just was like, oh my God, I put it all together in my brain. And I felt it was like a rush of dopamine that I did not expect to have happen. And then for the rest of the day, what was in my head was the line when Martin Short, aka Frank, in Father of the Bride is going, honk, honk, like chasing him out of the house, trying to get him to stay. And he's like, we need his mind. Like, that's what's in my head all day long. I kept doing that. So that is what Sam is doing with this Magic in My Bones song. He's like, magic in my bones, and just like randomly saying it. Like, at all times, it doesn't make any sense why it's coming out. It just is.
This comes out.
Right. So last night in the shower, he's in the shower and he's drawing on the shower window, as you do. And he draws what he says is a bone, and he starts to write, there is magic in my bones. And now I'm at a weird angle in the shower and I cannot see the entire drawing.
Right.
So all I saw was the end of it looked like a dog bone, the end of that. Mm-hmm. And then the middle part of the bone.
Right.
And I could not see the end of that.
And you have taught middle school long enough that...
Right. Mm-hmm, that I was like, is my child drawing is this like the beginning of Superbad, where there's like a lot of inappropriate drawings like all over the place? So I was just like, what are you doing? And he's like, Mom, it's a bone. And I'm like, I can see I can see that that's what it is. Yeah. And he's like, because there's magic. And I went,
okay.
Oh, like it.
Yeah, there is magic. You're right.
So I'm just like, okay, you're right. Mm-hmm, yep, I got it now. I see it. And then he's like singing it again. And I just went, okay, it's not inappropriate. It's not inappropriate. It's not inappropriate. You need to get your brain wrapped around adult things and not like 13-year-old middle schooler things. So that's all that to say, like, my son drawing inappropriate things on the windows it's not as bad as it sounds, but I really did go, what are you drawing? Bah. All right, so those are our gems for the week. We're going to, real quick, be right back after this promo from our friends at Crime Divers.
Hey everyone, I'm Laura.
And I'm Jo.
And we are the hosts of Crime Divers podcast. We are Scottish sisters who tell each other true crime cases that other hasn't heard of.
New episodes are released every Tuesday, and you can find us on your favourite podcast platform.
So what are you waiting for? Grab your wetsuit and join us as we dive into the world of true crime.
But remember, watch out for those sharks!
Check out that show. It is a good one to listen to, and we like it, and they are our new friends. So
Yay!
hope you enjoy it. Yay. Let's get into our real talk for this week. We're talking about Valentine's Day gifts that don't suck. Right?
Right.
Like there's the typical, I'm going to use the line from a Disney movie, flowers, chocolates, promises you don't intend to keep. It's Cogsworth, by the way.
Yes.
But I do want to talk about this because you have like 2 weeks to get Valentine's Day gifts, and now's a good time to start that search if you haven't already. And as always, when we talk about gifts, remember, ultimately, it's not about the gift or its price tag. It's about how well you know the person. And when in doubt, do think about their hobbies and their wants. This is not an opportunity to do things that are needs. If you know that they need undershirts, this is not the time to give undershirts.
Right.
Valentine's Day is not a needs gift time. But hobbies and wants are a great way to steer yourself in the right direction. So let's go ahead and get started.
I am not a big Valentine's Day person.
No, huh?
It's not a big deal for me. I have some Valentine's Day baggage. So
Sure. A lot of people do. Totally get it.
It's kind of fun for me to think about it in a perspective of not just your sweetheart, but other people that you love and care about. So we're going to start with gifts for kids. Besides, of course, the little cardboard Valentine cards that come 32 to a box with 2 teacher-sized cards and stickers and maybe a lollipop if you're feeling fancy.
I have to start doing all of those for our class. Oh,
yes.
Gotta find them. All right.
So
okay.
We have like a bajillion links that Caitlin has found of all different articles.
Mm-hmm.
They're the greatest articles, right? They're the ones where you scroll through 29 gifts to give. Da, da, da. So she's a master of them. When I
have way too many emails that are like to e-magazines. So these are things like, it's like BuzzFeed and PureWow and Refinery 29. I just get lots of e-zines. And so I pulled some of my favorites out of there that I thought were fun. But I have all the links here in the blog post for the episode. So please do go check them out. They're great ideas in there.
So I was, scrolling through them and looking, and I was thinking about my own children and how much fun we have in the holiday season baking together. And I thought, why could we not do that at Valentine's? There's all kinds of cookie decorating kits year round now. And so what I would give to my children is an experience together making and decorating cookies.
I love that idea. So you get like a kit for that?
Yeah.
Like a holiday themed one. I love that. So I like Valentine's Day. That was, I think, one of my mother's in particular love languages is gift giving. So like I would get random little gifts all the time. So it'd be like tiny little things at Valentine's Day. I even got little things for St. Patrick's Day, like just little tiny things that were just fun. Right. So I always include I always include my kid in stuff like this. So one of the things we've done is a favorite character as a stuffy. So he loves Spider-Man. So I found it was a bear on Etsy that was like, or no, maybe even eBay or something that someone had. It was like a Build-A-Bear, but it's done all in red with black webs on him. And he has a little white face. So it looks
cute.
like kind of like a Spider-Man like teddy bear. It's really sweet. And he has like little Spider-Man logo on his paws. It's very cute. Something like that. He also really loves Legos. So, little tiny, like a mini Lego set that's like $10 or less. Some of them are Valentine's themed. Those are always a fun one to do. I also love shared activity books. I just got How to Draw with Mom or Draw with Mom for Sam. And it's like, he starts a drawing on one side and then I finish it on the other.
Oh, that is so
or
fun.
Like Yeah, like he draws a birthday cake and then I add the candles, something like that. Those are really fun. And then other just like little games that could just be used to spend quality time together.
Right.
Apples to apples is a good one, but little things like that. Now that he's getting older, he likes to play games a little bit more. So we're starting to have some of those fun times together. He loves Go Fish. So we found like a fun Go Fish set that he'll, like that's a good one. So just little things like that for kids. They don't have to be big. Think like stocking stuffer type, right?
Right.
That's sort of what I had in mind for kids. But those are some of my favorite ideas for Valentine's Day. Again, it's all about like sharing an experience and showing them you love them. That's what Valentine's Day can be for them.
Years ago, for some gift giving occasion, I gave Abby a journal that is like mother, like daughter. And so they ask questions and you go through and answer them together. And we just date the page when we sit down and work on it. So we've been filling it out for like 5 years, which is kind of fun to see the changes.
That's super cute.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I love that.
So rather than say, okay, when are we going to have 17 hours to fill out this whole book together? We just tackle a random page, flip through and say, okay, let's do this one.
Cute. That's super cute.
Yeah.
Okay. So teenagers, this is like a time of teenagers, and Valentine's Day kind of sucks, right? Because it's like, that's sort of when they're getting into Valentine's Day as a thing that like, I give love to people that I care about. And there's no longer the mandate of I have to give a Valentine to everyone in my class.
Right.
So including them in on a gift, excuse me, even if they're not, it's not really their thing, it's just a nice way to kind of boost their spirits a little bit. So I thought of just something little like sports gear from one of their favorite teams. If they're not a sports kid, that's okay. But if they are a sports kid, choose something that's a favorite team related and get them that. Name jewelry, if they like jewelry, you can get something with their name on it. Like there's some really cool ones that have great fonts that are like signature style or whatever on
and
Etsy.
Very
They're
trendy right
sweet. Now. Very trendy right now. Or this is a little bit on the pricier side, but a Stanley tumbler, kind of make your kid have one. I mean, those are always going to be helpful. And for whatever reason, all of the students that I've ever had are like super into whatever the next big cup is. Like I had kids with Yetis, and I had kids with whatever
the Swell water bottles was the beginning. Do you remember?
Oh yeah. Yes, I do. But a Stanley tumbler is another good way to go with that.
And you can do like I do, and you can put a shoe organizer over the closet door, shoe organizer in your pantry. Mm-hmm. And that's how we keep all of our water bottles and all of our coffee cups.
It's
like our to-go cups.
Way to do that.
Yeah.
It's a great
so
way to
great.
Do that.
So also super trendy all over TikTok are these cloud sandals. They are inexpensive, y'all. Like the link that I am including, they're only like $20 and they come in lots of different colors. They're soft and spongy to wear, and depending on what you're allowed to wear to school, they might wear them to school or just to knock around the house.
Oh really?
Yeah,
that's awesome. For whatever reason, Crocs and cloud sandals are super much the thing right now. Right. If they already have Crocs, you could get them little charms to go on their Crocs.
Oh yes.
Those are...
What are those? Giblets? No, that's the turkey. Gibbets?
I do not know what they're called, but giblets.
It's not giblets.
I'm going with it. What if you get... I've seen like...
Wait, what if you got like tiny like liver and heart? Then it is giblets, right? Like, do they have one that's the shape of a turkey neck?
So gross.
And that weird packet of gravy.
What's that thing on your shoe?
Yeah. It's
God.
a turkey liver?
Obviously. Did you know that they make Brock's candy corn that's Thanksgiving flavors?
Ew, what?
Yeah.
Thanksgiving
there's a mashed potatoes
flavors.
and a gravy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, there's a mashed potatoes and a gravy in it. Yeah.
Those are all savory
I haven't
flavors.
tasted them yet. Yeah, it sounds disgusting. I haven't tasted them yet, but I'm not really interested. Okay. This question to me was the one that was always the hardest, is like, what do I get someone who's like my significant other, but like we're not married? And we're dating, it's not super serious, or like I don't know what it is yet. So, so
you're saying not an engagement ring.
No, yeah, not an engagement, not an engagement ring.
When we were on the Jungle Cruise, one of our skippers made the joke because we were being chased by monkeys. He said, "Let me scare them off the same way I did my last girlfriend. I love you. Let's settle down."
Stop. Oh no. Oh, I bet that gets a laugh every time. Yeah. Oh man.
You know the story behind the Jungle Cruise?
No.
Walt Disney wanted to have real jungle animals. And his advisors said, "Dude, this is California." Because it opened at Disneyland first. This is California. Yeah. It's not the same landscape as these animals need. Right. And most of the animals that you want are nocturnal and eat each other. I don't know how we would do that.
Oh, man. Oh, goodness. Yeah. No. Okay.
So he says, okay, we'll make it animatronic. So they make it animatronic, and it's presented as a serious, like, oh, this is the jungle. Pretend and be impressed by our animatronics. And he's sitting in the park one day, as he often did, and he heard a mom say to her son, "Let's go ride the Jungle Cruise." And he says, "I've already done that one."
Uh-oh.
And he realized things have to change. Things have to grow. You have to evolve. Mm-hmm. If you want people to come back year after year, you have to offer something different each time.
Totally. Yeah.
And they started by making fun of the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
Because if you do try and do it seriously, like, here's an animatronic elephant. So instead, they just let the skippers make the jokes that they wanted, and it just got more and more punny. And now it's like a rite of passage for an actor to serve as a Jungle Cruise skipper. Nicolas Cage did it.
I love it. Nicolas Cage. Oh, goodness.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I love it. Okay, so significant other, but not necessarily married to this person or in a committed relationship, okay? A set of cool wine glasses if you know that they're a wine drinker, or something else that they love to imbibe, right? Yeah. So could be like a set of 2 beer steins, or tumblers, or whatever it is that you know that they like to drink. And if they're not a drinker, that's okay. It could be like a set of 2 of those like little Yetis or whatever, right? Like you don't it doesn't have to be anything, but something that's like the 2 of you, right? Like
can enjoy
but it's not overly committed. Right. Champagne bears, if they are a drinker, also a fun option. Massage oils or some sort of similar gift, if that's the relationship that the 2 of you have. Sometimes I've seen recently there's like candles where when the wax cools, that can be turned into a massage oil or whatever. Like some interesting things that are happening there, but I'm old and I don't know what those are. So I put the link there. If they are kind of travel-y-ish or whatever, a cool backpack. I really like the Timbuktu brand, especially if you're like a rider, like a bike rider or something like that. It's a great brand. Or a cooler that's like a Yeti, and maybe you guys use it on like something, like you go to a football game together, or you go on a picnic and you bring the cooler with you, whatever it is, something like that.
We have the picnic backpack, and someone gave that to me as a gift, and it was a really fun like little date night gift. And so there's space in the backpack for you to store your food, but there's also like plates and cups and napkins and cutlery all in it. So
that's cool.
That would be a fun one too.
Yeah.
For me, this one, like, that I am almost 40 and I have not been out there in a while. What about this blanket hoodie thing? Like, hey, I don't know like where our relationship is, but like, do you want to sit on the couch and watch a movie in this wearable blanket? Yes, you do.
Yeah. Like, this is like a good snuggle sort of option, right? Yes. Like, I'm into that.
Either alone or with a friend. Like, here is a giant hoodie that you can wear that's also a blanket. It's amazing.
Right. Smart. Love it. Okay. What if you are in a committed relationship or you're married to this person, right? I'm going to go with nice slippers. Nice. Like, emphasis on nice, right? Think like UGG, okay? Not things that you can find on Groupon. Nothing wrong with Groupon, but not that. Go nicer. Also, something else comfortable. I've heard really good things about Lululemon's ABC pants.
Oh.
They're for men, just so you know, the ABC pants.
Yes.
It's anti something crusher, the word being a body part. Yeah. So I've heard nothing but good things about those. My favorite one is the gift of time.
Yeah.
If you are someone who is a love languages person, you know that quality time is a thing, but quality time doesn't necessarily have to be quality time with that significant other. I have a few ideas for this. This could mean a fun date night activity or set of activities, like idea cards or scratch off movie posters or scratch off maps or Q&A books. Like we did one of those, the book that you have with Abby, we did one of those. It was like a 3-year book of like,
oh, fun.
You write like a sentence every day. They give you a sentence starter and it's like, yeah. Or it could be quality time alone that they get time with by themselves in the house. Like I have a friend who, I think I've told this story before, every year for Mother's Day, her husband takes the kids out of the house for 24 hours. Like that's her gift. It's a gift of time by herself. Right. She loves that gift. And they don't give her anything else because she doesn't want anything else. She just wants to be in the house when it's clean by herself.
Right.
Like, that's it. Just time with their friends, time to do the thing that they love that helps them feel recharged. You can give that to them as a gift. For my husband, it's both things, right? Like he wants to do the gift of time with his friends, but he also really wants quality time with me and with our son. So, that's an option for those things.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in this time in our lives where things are busy. And just acknowledging, hey, I know you want this and I'm going to make it happen for you. That's really cool. I was scrolling through these lists and pet portrait is the coolest thing.
Oh my gosh. My sister can speak to this. One of her good friends just gave her a portrait of our family dog Theo as like a general.
Right?
It is awesome. It's so like I kind of thought, okay, this is a little hokey. No, it is amazing.
And there's so
totally
many
legit.
artists out there on Etsy that do lots of different pet portraits. Some of them are computer generated. Some of them are accurate. Some of them are campy, like as a general I love the minimalist ones. Yes. Like those ones are really cool. You can do lots of fun things with those. So yeah, it's a great idea. We also have the this way, that way signs that you see a lot, like, oh, go to, it's 500 miles away. We have those for all of the vacations that we've taken hanging in our home with the number of kilometers from our house, pointing the direction that you would need to leave from our house.
That's really cool. So I love that.
That's always for me, like, since I started that, it's an easy, like, hey, here's the next one. We went to this place.
Yeah. Add on. Yeah. I love that idea. You could do it for like where you met or, where you got married or whatever, things like that. Those are great. Okay. So friends, you know this, I'm a big Valentine's Day person.
Yes.
Like, I think that one is really special. Now, if you do not identify as a gal, that doesn't mean that you can't celebrate your friends for Valentine's Day. Now, most of the people who identify as Ben that I know really don't care about Valentine's Day, so this may not be for them. But that said, for friends, great skincare or makeup or hair products that you know they're going to love. Nail polish gift sets are fun, hair accessories, stuff like that you know that they're going to love, right? If they don't talk about that brand with you, don't buy them that brand. Unless you know it's like, this is like super high end, like everyone's talking about this, I really want you to try it, I also love it, etc. Like I would not buy you skincare at this point because you have a brand that you know and love, so I would find something else.
And look at me, don't I look so young? And
you do look so young and youthful. Yes. Yep. Gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. As always. Also beautiful / nice sort of things that they can use for work. So some people are pen people. They really love a nice set of pens. I am a like storage and organization person. So like something that would help me kind of organize the multiple monitors and things that I have is always a fun way to do that. Or travel accessories that are going to come in handy if they travel for work, things like that.
Well, and I go back to us talking about use the stickers, like give the stickers.
Yeah. Fun. Great idea.
Hey, I'm giving these to you and I want you to actually use them. Do not keep them on the sheet.
Yes.
Here's a journal that you can write in. And it doesn't matter if you make it perfect or you have a theme. You can just use it to take notes during a meeting. I am giving you the freedom to write in this pretty notebook.
And then here's a pretty pen to go along with it.
Right.
Done. I also appreciate anything related to inside jokes for friends. Yes. Because those are always going to be good. But for Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day, whatever you choose to honor with your friend, nothing says how much you love a person like something that you both cracked up about together, right? Like that's really special. So that's a big one. Highly recommend. For example, I found a doormat that I really feel like one of my sisters needs to have, but it's a what are you doing in my swamp doormat, which I thought was so funny. It just made me laugh out loud. There's another one that was like, were Ross and Rachel on a break? And it's yes or no. And then the delivery person has to put the package on were they on a break or not.
That's hilarious.
Hysterical, right? Those are so funny, but just those would be things that would make that person know that you care about them and love them.
Right. That's notes for this. Like, show them that you know them. And this is the same that I'm going to say for every gift giving occasion.
Every gift. Yeah.
If you can show that you know the person and that you really thought of them when you thought of this object, that is the gift.
Right.
The thing is secondary.
Right. Exactly. The other one that's always fun is you could have treats delivered to them during the day. So like, you know, here in Austin, there's like cookie delivery, which again, I'm not going to mention because we're not sponsored, but there's some of those really cool ways that you can just kind of like, I want you to have a treat during the day. It doesn't have to be expensive, just something little that lets you, you know, it doesn't have to be flowers, a giant bouquet. It can just be something fun like that. Speaking of kind of random like deliveries, if you are kind of like, I have all these ideas, I don't know how to narrow down my focus, or I'd like to give a couple of littler things or whatever, curated gift sets are a really good option. So what I mean is find sites like Happy Box or Bright Box, Knack Shops. These are companies that will kind of take what you're interested in giving and sort of give you a few ideas. And there'll be a box that has like 3 or 4 things in it that you can then have delivered to a person.
How fun is that?
Right. So like I've done it before with a couple of friends where I'm like, I know that they love the color lavender and I know that they love to write. So I'm going to look for things that have like purpley writing things. And I found one and I sent it to that person.
That's so cool.
Really fun idea. And
I
it kind of
just
takes
lost
the heat off
half
of
a
you.
day because I'm about to go dig for dopamine on these websites. Yes, highly recommend. So those are just a few ideas that I had. So if you're really struggling for ideas, just look up, you know, curated gift box set and see what comes up. You'll find a few companies and you can peruse what they have to offer. And again, overall message is what do they know? What do they love? What are their hobbies? What are their wants? No needs, just wants, right? Right.
Okay.
Why was I late to work this week?
Why?
Because I was organizing the condiments on my fridge door.
Spoken like a true ADHDer. But what does that mean? What would be a good gift for you then?
Some label sort of maker?
Like, yeah, or like a fridge organizing thing. Less condiments. Don't give me any more mustards. Someone who goes in and throws out your condiments in your kitchen.
That's what I need. I need someone to come.
A fun timer that yells at you and says, "It's time to leave right now."
Yes. That's what I really need. I need something that says, "Jen,
it's time to go.
You need to leave. Down. You need to leave. Like, get out of the house and go get in the car."
Right.
If you don't leave in this window, there's going to be so much traffic that you're going to be much more than 5 minutes late.
Right. And we all know that the 2 to 3 minutes, if you leave 2 to 3 minutes later, it really does mess up the drive. Like, it really does mess it up. So just go. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It's like, what are the things that you know this person needs, but that also would make them laugh at the same time? Right?
Right.
That's the whole point. All right. So we've come to the end of the show. this is going to be my call to action. Yes, of course, we want you to rate and review and those things. But also, it would mean a lot to us if for Valentine's Day, you would just share our show with one person who you think would enjoy it.
I love it.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to ask of you this week.
I'm going to do it.
Great.
You do it too.
Love it. Okay.
Make good choices.
And happy Valentine's Day early. Find something great for people you care about. Okay, bye.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to the CK and GK podcast. Find us at CK and GK podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that you pod. See you next time.